what's happened recently. So it says the updates this week in AI are marked by a critical convergence of all this sort of crazy stuff that's going on. And then we've got the updates. So for example, like autonomous cyber risk, guardrail evasion. We've got frontier models, right? So for example, like Badu's Ernie 5.0 that literally just came out recently, right? I've also got the sources for all of these pieces of information too. Now this is important too, because you know, and I know, hallucinates and tends to make up a lot of stuff, right? And so if you can easily bypass that, creating this sort of content, then you're going to get much better results, right? Custom instructions to create the answer, right? Now, have a look at these responses, which are like super messy, quite difficult to read, not that fun to interact with, and compare it to this one, right? Where it's got nice headers, it's simplified the language. Anyone could read that and understand what's going on. And then it also summarizes the updates. It's like update 3, update 4, right? Update 5. So super easy to do. And then from here, we can then start generating an audio overview based on what's happened, right? Now, inside the audio overview here, which is basically like generating a podcast with 2 different people, you can also select the language here. So you can create this in German or whatever. You can change it to be short, long, or default. And then you can also switch between what you want to talk about. So for example, it could be deep dive or brief or critique or debate. And then inside this section, you've got the what should the AI hosts focus on, right? So you can say, okay, focus only on the new AI tool updates so anyone can understand the latest AI updates this week. Select short. That's going to make it quicker to generate, but also easier to use. And then if you wanted to create a podcast, maybe to embed inside a blog or inside your website or share on social media or create on YouTube, then the way that you do this is you'd also say, okay, let's say you've got a product and you want to use this kind of commercially, right? You could say, okay, subtly sell the benefits of the AI Profit Boardroom. And, you know, you replace this with whatever you want to sell, available, and we'll put available at aiprofitboardroom.com and mention that this is the best AI automation community to learn AI automation, get coaching, AI coaching, and support, plus connect with an amazing community of people. Okay? We've got the deep research report ready here. It has failed to bring in a few. So you can see here it's actually failed to bring this in. It says invalid URL, but that's okay because we've got so many resources from the deep research report. We can use those to generate more, right? And it doesn't really matter if some of them don't work because we're playing the numbers game and we're generating so many inputs, right? So that's the deep research. That's how to generate the audio overviews based on exactly what we want. We've got the video overview as well, but still generating. So that might take about 5, 10, 20 minutes to generate actually when we come to video overviews. And then the final update that we have is the chat history, right? So you can close the session and resume it later. How do you do that? Let me show you. So if we go back to inside Notebook LM, if we actually click off that and then we go back to the Notebook LM, you can actually see the history inside the chat here, which is great. Basically, what that new update has allowed is all the interactions that you have with the AI, it actually saves. And then you can see the previous responses, right? You can come back to those and search through them and find previous options. Whereas normally, if you came back to a Notebook LM, like you've created here, it would start from scratch, right? You wouldn't have any history on that. I wonder if that's tracked it for old ones as well. So let's have a look here.